Welcome to Failure is Progress, presented by Sweat Factory CrossFit. I am Coach Frankie Ortega.
And I am Coach Keith Barber. Join us today as we discuss everything going on inside the CrossFit space and, more importantly, what new and exciting things are happening in our Sweat Factory CrossFit gyms.
As always, thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate the support and truly enjoy the feedback we've been receiving from all of you.
Please reach out through our DMs on Instagram. If you aren't already following us, please do so at Failure is Progress, all lowercase. And now, on to today's episode.
All right, episode 30 of Failure is Progress is now in session. Keith, it's been a few weeks, man. We've been busy.
It has been very busy, my man.
How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. I just came back from Power Monkey Camp, and that was an amazing experience as always. If you don't know what Power Monkey Camp is, it is basically sleepaway camp for adults. They run 10 stations, 3 gymnastic stations, 3 weightlifting stations, and then they have aerobic capacity, rowing, kettlebell, and jump rope. So if you're interested in that, you can hit them up on powermonkeyfitness.com.
That's not something you have to be a coach to attend?
Absolutely not. It's for anybody and everybody. Oh man, I'm blanking on the lady's name, but she is 83 years old. Ooh. And she's been to like 4 or 5 camps. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter color, creed, age, all of that fun stuff. Whoever's into fitness and think you would enjoy some outdoors and some really fit people, go ahead and join.
That's awesome, man. And I applaud you. Like I said before you went, like the fact that you continue to do this. You've been to what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, that was my 4th one.
4th one,
yeah.
Man. The fact that you keep pushing yourself to keep learning and growing in the sport is incredible. After 10 years, you ain't tired.
No, I love it too much.
It's the lifelong AMRAP.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We got some announcements. You want to go ahead and talk about the Claremont gym upgrade?
Absolutely. So as most of us know, we are getting into some upgrades at the Claremont gym here. We have a specialist coming in to lay out the whole gym. We're going to be redoing a couple of the bathrooms. We're going to be decorating the walls. Got a lot of things going on with that. I believe the goal is to get started at the end of May.
After Murph?
After Murph, yeah. After Murph, end of May, start on that big project. We are still accepting donations, so if you have the link is at the gym. Definitely hit the link and send us some support. It's on the Facebook
page.
It's on the Facebook page as well. Yeah, so if you find it in your heart to bless us with that, then we would greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, and then Murph announcements. Each gym is going to have different operating hours that day. Usually that's a holiday, so we're not going to have the gym open standard hours. Afterburn is going to be open for one class at 8 a.m. We're actually going to run 3 heats. First heat will be 8:30, second 8:45, third at 9, immediately followed by a barbecue at the gym. And then I believe Groveland's also doing an 8 a.m. And then what times are you guys doing over in Claremont?
Over in Claremont, we got the 6 a.m. and then we have an 8:30 a.m. So we got 2 time slots there. It won't be heat style. Everybody will be starting at the same time, but we do have those 2 separate times that you can come in.
Nice. And I'm expecting that we receive the shirts we ordered either this week or the next, which is exciting. Yeah, man, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be a great time. If I'm being honest, I might skip out on Murph this year.
Well, you're coaching it.
Yeah. I will be coaching both of those classes. So if you want to hang out with me, great. If you don't, sorry, but I'll still be there.
you and me can do it at another time when we're not coaching it.
Yeah, we can. We'll say that we did it at another time.
All right, bro. Speaking of Murph, which is one of the most difficult workouts out there, what's the topic about today?
Today we're going to be talking about individual athlete responsibility.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
And this topic was inspired by a message that we were having in the coaches group. For those of you that don't know, a little peek behind the curtain, every month we have an education call for the coaches where we just kind of talk shop and discuss how we can make the class experience better. I reached out to the coaches and asked them what they wanted to talk about this month, because I was a little unprepared. Sorry, guys. And you brought up that how to appropriately scale and how to inform the members that going RX all the time probably isn't the best way to train.
Correct.
So
And
did you want
that's not
Sorry.
just an opinion.
Yeah.
That's not just an opinion.
As the kids say, facts.
Yeah, I feel like I told you, man, I feel like we're saying the same story over and over again, beating a dead horse with this one. But oddly enough, after I sent that message to you, I actually had one of my athletes reach out to me to pause her membership because she now has an aggravated hernia because she's been going too hard for too long. And now she's going to be out of the gym for 2 months. This is kind of specifically why it is that I tell a lot of my athletes that you shouldn't go RX every day. You know, I don't know 100%. I would assume you have better clarity on this, but going to the professional athletes who do this for a living, get paid by sponsors, et cetera, do they go as hard as they possibly can 6 days a week?
No. they just don't. You can't sustain something like that from a training volume perspective or from an intensity perspective. It's not an optimal way to train. It leads to burnout. It leads to injuries. It leads to a strongly diminished health. So not just like physical injury, but also like internally with your biometrics and all that. It can just absolutely destroy your health. It's just not there's not a whole lot of positive things, honestly, that I can say about going as hard as possible every single day.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the biggest reasons why I bring this up to people, like I've through my own experience, when I've gone into seasonal prep for any competitions that I'm going for, right? So last year I did Tampa Bay games, I did Festivus games, I did the Christmas one, I forget what it's called.
The Reindeer Rumble.
The Reindeer Rumble,
Yep.
right? Every time that I was leading up into those, I was getting to a point where I was working out 6 days a week and up until 2-a-days, right? And my 2-a-days were very different from one day to the next, but I understand just how much my body is suffering during that period of time. And I understand how much I have to consume extra, how much more I have to sleep more. But yeah, everything is exaggerated, right? And that's kind of the point as to what I'm trying to tell some of these athletes is, you know, it's not that you can't do it. It's that you shouldn't. You should be smarter about your training. Unless your specific goal is something within, you know, arm's reach that you know you're going for, why are you putting your body through this when your body has other things that it has to do, like get you to and from work, take care of your children, you know, just get you through life without hurt and pain, you know? So I tell a lot of my athletes, you know, it's smart to look at our programming. We're very fortunate that our programming is laid out in multiple scales every single day, and just pick and choose based on how you feel from day to day. If you want to come in Monday because you were able to rest Saturday and Sunday and you feel really good, go RX, go ham. I love it. The next day, think about how you feel. Taper down a little bit. You know, maybe towards Wednesday, think about going for a full-on recovery day where you're just moving as light as possible. Go for a yellow or orange workout in our programming, or, you know, a severely scaled option. But you're still moving. You're still getting in that quality time that your body needs. And then come Thursday, ramp it back up. You know, CrossFit's prescription for rest is what, 3 days on, 1 day off?
Yeah.
Right? And that 1 day doesn't mean sit on the couch, watch Netflix, and eat potato chips, right? I mean, it's active recovery.
Yeah.
Go for a run, a jog, you know, do little EMOM on the bike, you know, do something where you're still moving, but you're not taxing your body the same way that you do when you're going through an RX workout.
Yeah, that would be the perfect time to do what everybody is obsessed with right now, which is your Zone 2 training.
Zone 2. Zone 2.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Those are everybody loves Zone 2 right now. It's the same thing as steady state cardio, but whatever.
That sounds cooler though.
It does sound
because it's
cooler.
one level higher than Zone 1. So it's like, wow.
Just coasting in Zone 2. I like it. It's like the sequel. Yeah. Individual athlete responsibility. Going back to your point about like, unless you have specific goals, like going 100%, like honestly, it doesn't really matter what your goals are because there's, like I said, it's just not a sustainable way to train to go 100% every single day. Most of your elite athletes are trying to increase their capacity at their 70 to 80%. So let's just use strength metrics just because they're the easiest to kind of conceptualize. Let's say your 1 rep max is 100 pounds. So we want to train anywhere from 70 to 80 pounds until, because that would be 70 to 80%, until that 70 to 80% becomes heavier. So once that 70 to 80 pounds becomes 75 to 85, we're still working within our 70 to 80%.
Right.
But now the percentages of the weight is just higher because your overall 1 rep max has gone up. So I think a lot of people see these freak athletes doing, 5 by 10 at 315, and they're just like, oh my gosh, there's so much weight. They feel like they have to do the same weight for the same amount of reps for the same sets. And it's just like, well, their 1 rep max is 500 pounds. You know what I mean? Like you're not the same athlete that you're watching on Instagram or whatever the case is.
I don't know, man. Me and Medeiros can go toe to toe.
I feel like if it is hang power cleans,
Nope.
and
Nope.
you're pretty good at hang power cleans, bro.
Nope.
I feel like a hang power clean.
No, man. I can't go
like
toe to toe with the last place athlete in the games.
Oh, I wouldn't even try. Oh, funny story real quick. And this kind of goes with what we're talking about right now. So Elijah Muhammad,
Love that guy.
asked me to work out with him.
Of course.
And I said yes, because it's Elijah Muhammad, like once in a lifetime opportunity.
Right.
So the workout was 3 rounds for time, 20 burpee box jump overs, and a 50-foot handstand walk. But it had to be 25 feet down, pirouette, and then 25 feet back. I did not do the pirouette and turn around and come back to do it unbroken, but that's neither here nor there. So he comes to me, he's like, hey, you want to do this workout? He tells me what the workout is. He was like, I'm not even putting on a clock. I'm just doing this for some extra volume. So for somebody who's prepping for semifinals, he was doing this workout simply to get more movement economy. He wanted more reps in the tank of these specific movements because they're probably going to show up at semifinals. He wasn't doing this workout to get the fastest possible time that he could get. He was doing this workout just simply from a volume perspective.
I love that.
Quick asterisk with that. The first round, we did all 20 reps, almost synchronized. And then he immediately kicks up into the handstand while I caught my breath for about 3 to 4 minutes. I did not realize he was, because before he was like, yeah, I'm only going to go like 65% of my like capacity. I'm going to keep it real slow. So I was like, okay, I probably can keep up with 65% of Easy Muhammad. I can't. I cannot at all. Not even a little bit. Those dudes are on a whole different system when it comes to
absolutely
fitness.
Yeah, he's a monster, man.
He's an animal.
I thought he was like 6'11".
Yeah.
And I guess it was a typo. I think he's 6'1".
Yeah.
Right. I was way off, but he just looks so big on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's awesome. You got to work out with Easy.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but he finished probably 10 minutes before I did.
But yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because like that's a really good example, right? When I was preparing for my competitions, I was thinking about, all right, what are the movements that I'm worst at, right? Burpees are something that's very taxing on me, and they will wind me. Same thing with wall balls. Mm-hmm. I would do the same thing, right? I would do an EMOM where I just do in the first minute 10 burpees, second minute 10 calories on the bike. And I would do that over and over again for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it took. And I would do that over and over again, maybe 3 times a week leading up to the competition. And it wasn't a matter of trying to get faster or trying to get more rest in between the minutes or no specific goal. It was just that. It was just getting more burpees in. Yeah. Like I told you, when I turned 40, getting my 40 burpees for my birthday was way faster and way easier than when we did my 39 burpees for my 39th birthday. Yeah. And it's just a matter of getting reps in. Doesn't matter how fast I did them or whatnot. Over time, doing more of them throughout the year, I've gotten fitter.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we're here for.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more like the psychological aspect that, oh, if I'm not doing RX, that means I'm not as fit as I used to be. So it's kind of like this comparative thing where, like, okay, I need to make sure that I can always do RX, even though me doing RX means that I'm putting 90% of my one rep on the bar for 50 reps in this Metcon. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because one of the athletes over at Afterburn sent me an Instagram video a couple of days ago. We had a discussion, and I had said to her, hey, why don't you go at orange on today's workout, scale it down a little bit? And she looked at me, and she almost wanted to punch me in the throat. It was like the most disrespectful thing I've ever said to someone, and I was like, okay, I got you. And she's like, you know how hard I've worked to get to do blue workouts?
Yeah.
Or to do purple workouts. I'm not going back to orange ever again. And I started laughing, and I was like, okay, I get it. And then afterwards we were talking, and I was like, you know that if you do the workout in orange and you do the workout in black, you're still doing the same workout. She's like, no, I'm not. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go after it anymore. A little bit later, she sends me a message on Instagram, and it was one of those posts where it says, this is CrossFit, this is also CrossFit. And it was like box jumps, and then after the box jumps, box step-ups. And then after that, there was like pull-ups, and then there was like seated pull-ups. And it was just, it was a constant, there was push-ups, and then there was box push-ups. And she was like, I think this is what you were trying to tell me earlier, and I wasn't listening. And I was like, that's okay. As long as you heard it from somewhere and you listened to it from somewhere,
As long as you got it.
But it's this idea that we have in our minds where we're going backwards. Yeah. I've had a lot of athletes bring that to my attention, that they feel like they're going backwards if they don't do the workout at their max capacity every day. Yeah. And, for me, it's been the total opposite. I'll never forget the first day that I walked in here, Jen said to me, if you can check your ego at the door, you'll always be successful. Yeah. And so, one, that's really easy for me. I've never had an ego. But I think it's important that all the athletes have that same kind of idea. Like, what are you working towards? And what is your immediate, what is your not so immediate, and then what is your long-term goal, right? Mm-hmm. If your immediate goal is a competition, all right, I get it. Go harder a little bit more often. If your immediate goal isn't to go to a competition, then it should just be to be the best version of yourself today. Yeah. And you got to listen to your body in order to do that. If you don't listen to your body and everything's hurting, I've got athletes that come in, they're almost limping, and they're just like, yesterday's workout killed me. Okay, cool. What are you doing today? Black. Okay. You do you.
And even more than that, like, you're coming in limping, you're beat up, you're sore everywhere. Maybe you do black level because that today's workout isn't that, crazy for you as an athlete. But you also don't have to push to your max, like, aerobic or anaerobic capacity either. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Even if you do black, let's say a black level workout is, let's take yesterday's, for example. We had, 5 rounds. We had 5 bar muscle-ups. We had 10 deadlifts, and then
box
was it a run? Oh, box jumps. Yeah, box jumps.
Yeah.
15 or 12?
I believe it was 12.
12. And
15 maybe for the higher levels. I did 12.
It might have been 15 for the higher levels. So we had 5, 10, 15. Like, in that workout, maybe only do 3 rounds and do it at a very slow, very, like, easy pace where you're breathing heavy, but you could still hold a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, if I came over and I asked you, like, hey, how's your day going? You'd be like, oh, I'm fine, as you're going over the box or something like that. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that, like making the adjustment that way. Like, yeah, you want to do black level because you love doing bar muscle-ups. I get it. Bar muscle-ups are fun. I probably would have done the same thing.
Bar muscle-ups are so fun to watch.
We're going to get you there, bro. We're going to get you there. You stop coming to our sessions, but we'll talk about that offline.
It's not by choice. It's not by choice.
But yeah, like, you can always make the adjustment that way too. It doesn't.
That's a really good point. Scaling doesn't just mean going lower in weight.
Yeah.
Scaling doesn't just mean doing a lesser color or a color to the left. I'm not even going to say lesser. I'll say color to the left, right? It doesn't just mean that. It could be so many other things. If there's a really long run, Maybe instead of doing the mile, you do a half mile because you understand that that's really difficult for you, but you can go harder during that half mile, right? So now you're getting a similar stimulus, but you're pushing yourself and you're just not going for the entire mile. It's going to take you twice or 3 times as long.
Yeah.
You know, and again, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Right? If you have questions or you don't understand how you could scale something, come to us. You know, today's workout is a good example. Today we had the Murph prep. There was bent over rows as a scaling option, or strict pull-ups or pull-ups, right? And I told a lot of athletes, you know, even if you're in the brown black range where you want to be doing this, I suggest you go for bent over rows because it's not a movement we do often.
Yeah.
So this is your opportunity to go for something different, and you can go really heavy on bent over rows and get really good stimulus out of it.
Yeah.
So it was a great opportunity to do something different. And I had a bunch of athletes at a couple of my classes take that option, and they were like, "Oh, this is fun," you know. And
it's something new.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, again, man, I feel like we're beating a dead horse, but at the same time, it needs to be said.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're beating a dead horse just because we're talking directly to the athletes now. Usually we come at it from like a coach's perspective where we're like, hey, coaches, like make sure your athletes are doing this, make sure your athletes are doing that. But now we're talking specifically to the athletes. Like, hey, guys, you need to also take some responsibility for your development as well as your recovery. Like, recovery is super, super important. Like, don't get me wrong, you have to work hard to get gains. But you also have to recover hard to get gains. And
Absolutely.
the harder you're working, the harder you need to recover. If you're working really, really, really hard all the time and you're not trying to match that energy in your recovery game, like you're just destroying your body.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to bring that up as well, which I'm glad you kind of ushered us into.
I was reading your mind, bro.
If you're busting your ass in these RX workouts and then you're going home and you're eating like trash, it's kind of mute.
Yep.
Right? Your nutrition really is your base. Like, I had an athlete yesterday come in who was thinking about signing up with us and said, oh, you know, I really want to know if I should do like 3 days a week, 5 days a week. And I said, well, what is your immediate goal? He's like, man, I want to get lean and look really, really good. And I was like, awesome. You got to get your nutrition dialed in 100%. Once you're eating at 100%, then I would say go maybe 4 to 5 days a week to the gym. And he's like, what does food have to do with it? And I was like, everything?
Everything. Absolutely
All of
everything. It? Yeah.
I mean, if you're not eating properly, everything you do in the gym is just suffering on the body.
Yes.
To a degree.
However, no. I 100% agree with that. But I'd rather you do that than nothing at all. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not sleeping well and you're not eating well and you're not working out, but you want to work out, I'd rather you get in the gym and start working out rather than like, oh, I can't work out because I haven't got my nutrition in check yet. You know what I mean? Like, let's kickstart that, get that ball rolling, and then we can have that conversation about like you making more gains by changing up your diet and stuff like that. Because there's nothing wrong with being the fittest unhealthy dude in your friends group. You know what I mean? Like, you still have the eating habits of everybody else, but you did deadlift 350 and none of your compadres even know what a deadlift is. You know what I mean? So like, I would rather you get that fitness ball rolling than have one more excuse of why you can't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
I feel like it would turn into that. It would be like, oh, well, I can't get my nutrition in check. I guess I can't go to the gym, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. And agreed. But I mean, just, okay, here's a scenario. You have an athlete who does 3 days a week, and they're struggling to get their diet dialed in. And they're saying, you know what? I want to start coming 5 or 6 days a week, right? Would your recommendation there be to, yeah, okay, come and move more? Or would it be, well, why don't we dial in and really focus on your nutrition? You can get more movement 6 days a week without having to necessarily come in here, but I really want you to focus on that nutrition.
It would be both, honestly. I would be like, okay, cool. Like, you're doing 3 days a week now. Let's bump you up to 4. But for you to come that 4th day, I need you to eat, at least your 4 cups of vegetables every day. And then we would track that and be like, okay, bro, you hit your 4 cups. Let's get in on Saturday. Let's do a partner WOD. Let's throw down. Like, you've already hit your 3 days this week, but because you also match your nutrition goal, now we can start to add on more.
Yeah.
But you don't get to add on more if you can't handle this other thing that we And that goes back to like the habit stacking,
Yeah.
right? Like you already have this habit of going to the gym because you're going consistently 3 days a week. Now we're just trying to stack a nutrition habit on top of that.
Yeah.
And then you feel more accomplished when you get to go to that fourth day, you know?
Well, and it's also the incentive for it. Like I get to eat more because I get to go to the gym more, or vice versa. You
Yeah.
know, like I go more so that I can consume more calories. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, like I was chatting with Jen the other day about I'm kind of like looking at my macros, and the site that I was looking at said that I need to eat 3,000 calories a day, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, that's a lot of calories. She's
That's a
like,
lot
yeah,
of
that's
calories,
a lot
baby.
of calories, and I'm like, am I there? Am I actually there where I get to eat 3,000? I can't eat 3,000 calories. I can't afford to eat 3,000 calories a day. But you know, when you're up early, you're working out, you're coaching, then you know you're doing your workouts, then you're in the afternoon, you're coaching, you're moving, you're doing like I can see where I'm getting there,
Oh.
but it's almost like a cool. Now I get to eat even more.
Yeah.
It's got to be 17 cups of veggies now,
Yeah. Yeah.
not 17 cups of chicken wings. But yeah, man, I mean, this is for me. It's right now like. This is my focus. My main focus is getting athletes to train with intention.
Yeah.
Right? We use that intention word so much. And this is really, for me, where it's at right now. If you're training and your intention is not to be the best version of yourself through every aspect possible, you're just coming in to do what is quote unquote cool, you know, you're kind
Or
of
if
not.
you're only coming in to continue to prove to yourself that you can do RX, it's just like you're kind of missing the point.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, we have athletes that can do RX every day, and for them, it is that 80%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at that point, okay, that's a different story. But we're talking to the majority,
Yeah.
right? We're talking to those athletes who are in the, you know, yellow, orange, blue, right? And you know, speaking of that, we have this this poster that I'm looking at getting at the gym from Level Method, which is our programming, that shows the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum in their version. And it's actually really cool because what it's kind of showing you is your main focus, your target, the ideal athlete day to day should focus on being in that blue, purple, brown range,
Yeah.
not in that brown, black range.
Yeah.
This is kind of where our fitness should be for us to have the greatest chance at longevity.
Yeah.
If we're going for just brown black every single day, we're putting ourselves at elite athlete scales, and that's just kind of like going back to the beginning, you know, more detrimental than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, what scales are you doing nowadays?
Honestly, right now, I'm just trying to get back into the habit of getting in the gym and just enjoying working out. When I was at Power Monkey Camp, I can't tell you the amount of times like people came up to me and asked me to do a workout. And I miss that. You know what I mean? Like I miss having a community of people that are like, it's more than just holding me accountable. Like they're excited to do the workout. They're excited to do the workout with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I feel like, and I've said this before, maybe not on the podcast, but like I feel like at some point CrossFit has made this turn where it's just like the culture, the community as a whole has gotten more comfortable with being comfortable and gotten more comfortable with like complaining. And it's just like every single workout, every single day that we coach, we have at least 3 or 4 people that are going to complain about something.
Right.
And it just becomes this like daunting task that I feel like I have to do when I go to work out, rather than like me being excited to go like work out with my friends, or being excited about the workout that I'm doing, or now I have to be the hype man. I have to make this exciting for other people.
No. I'm the hype man.
You are the hype man. You're the best hype man. And I try to do my best Frankie impersonation that I can, but I'll never measure up to Frankie the Mac.
I get where you're coming from, though. Like, it's hard as the coach, right? And you're the head coach here, so you're doing the majority of the hours. It's hard for you to get that same spark that you used to, right? Because you can't just like, okay, every day I'm going to do the 6 p.m. class, right?
Yeah.
You're coaching it.
Yeah.
So it gets a little difficult, you know. I feel the same. Like, part of the reason why I got into this was for the community aspect and getting to enjoy workouts alongside others, right? There's a huge benefit to suffering alongside someone else.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit harder for us, you know. But yeah, I feel you, man. Getting into that passion again and being able to enjoy those workouts. I'm sure everybody wants to work out with Keith.
I don't know about all
I'm sure
that.
everybody does. I'm sure there's a lot of people that just want to watch you work out.
All right, let's get a camera set up. Let's get this OnlyFans going.
You got to start. Yeah, there you go, man. Just go Instagram live every day. You'll get a whole community behind you.
Yeah.
Put more weight on the bar.
Yeah,
Put more
that'll
weight on
be
the
the
bar.
number one comment I get. Like, why are you only lifting that?
Oh, man. All right, brother. This has been awesome.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you bringing this topic up because, like I said, this is right now where all my focus is. And if you're listening to this, remember, be intentional with what you're doing. If you really don't understand what you should be doing and you're kind of just following somebody else, feel free to bring it up to one of your coaches. That's what we're here for. You know, in I was going to say in theory, but it's not in theory. It's literally, this is what you're paying us for.
Yeah.
Right? We're not just here to demo movements and tell you what the workout of the day is. Like, we care about you and we want to see you put yourself in the position to be the best version of yourself. So make sure you bring it up to us and we'll be happy to help you guys out.
Absolutely.
You got anything else, my man?
That's it for today.
All right. We'll see you guys on episode 31. Have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you.